Why, hello there, and welcome back to another rendition of Personal Trainer Tries 30 Days of Something. In the last episode, I did video game as my only workout for 30 days. That was the start of the year, and then I fell off the face of the planet. While I continued my 30-day challenges up until June of this year, I got really behind on editing and I never got these videos up. So for February, what I came up with based on input from other users and also just general questions I've had throughout the industry, February was 10,000 steps a day for the month of February, because obviously February was not 30 days. So that being said, when I went into this challenge, I was questioning how difficult is it really when I was a person that got maybe 7,000 steps a day to go to the 10K and hit it every day, including weekends, including holidays, including going out, all of it. Part 2, does it really make a difference? If you get 5,000 to 7,000 steps a day, will bumping it up to 10,000 make a noticeable enough difference with your weight loss journey or your bulking journey, whatever it is? Usually when you want to add extra movement, it is a weight loss because it kind of counteracts a bulk. So, and then part 3, the other thing I was looking at is, does it make a difference in how I'm feeling? Do I feel like my joints are less creaky? Did I need my chiropractor and my massage appointments less than I did before because I'm not sitting at my desk as much all day? Now, during the month that I was doing this, I actually didn't record a whole ton of side videos, but I am going to put in the one that I did record right here.
Nearing the end of this 10K step challenge, and it is definitely more of a mental challenge than a physical challenge. As someone who maybe got 5,000 steps in a day, doing 10 requires a lot of forethought, especially on the weekends, and especially after going out all night and not wanting to do anything.
As you can see from that video, by the end of the month, I was really struggling with the kind of mental aspect of it. On days that I wasn't feeling the greatest, I still had to get up and force myself to go do my loops every hour around my neighborhood. Now, I don't live in a place that I have big walking tracks or a neighborhood, so my options were really limited on length and distance that I could utilize to get those 10K steps in. Aside from being able to go to a gym all day and sit on a treadmill and just walk, I didn't really have a lot other than a small loop in my neighborhood that usually went out to about 1,000 steps. It was rough. Mentally, I had to be checking my watch all of the time. I had to be setting alarms and things like that to remind me to go walk. We are a lot more sedentary than we realize. And this was something that I heard on a podcast once, where people would get really active on the weekends and wander around and they'd burn a lot more. And that is obviously very true. But what you don't realize when you're not that person that is active all the time is how much time you spend sitting at a desk and how much time you spend active when you only work out an hour a day per se. And you sit at a desk 8 hours a day, you're not really counteracting all of that sedentary movement. And that 8 hours, it doesn't matter how much time you spend in the gym. That 8 hours is going to do the damage that it does. And that's why I was really looking at the how do I feel perspective of the 10K steps. Because obviously, at least from where I start, my starting point, obviously 10K steps from 5 to 7K is going to help motivate and accelerate some of my weight loss because I'm just naturally getting more movement. I'm burning more calories, even if it's not in a structured exercise environment. The extra movement from what I was getting before was naturally just going to burn more calories. So I assumed that it would help the weight loss. What I didn't really notice until I started doing it was just how different getting up once an hour, um, getting up and walking at least once an hour for 10 to 15 minutes was going to change how I felt. I was going through a phase where my body was aching all of the time before I started that challenge. And at the end of the month, I wasn't really hurting and needing to go to my chiropractor and my massage therapist like I usually do because of the damage that I've done to my body in the past. So, if there is one thing that I would definitely say was a positive benefit to this 10K challenge, it would be how my joints and body felt not sitting at a desk the entire time I worked during the week. That 10 to 15 minutes really did escalate how I felt and my joints and alleviated everything. It's not a perfect solution, but it did help. So there are a couple factors here that I think would change this journey that I had. One of which being I was working from home at the time. I didn't have to go into an office, which would have made my body feel significantly worse. The drive time and the commute that I have would have ultimately started to hurt me. That, on top of the fact that working from home allowed me to go have that 10 to 15-minute break that you typically wouldn't have in an office environment. I don't know that 10,000 steps as a hard number is feasible for the average human being. While you can encourage as a personal trainer people to get more movement in and give them step goals, when it comes to being in an office all the time, it is hard to go and create those steps, especially if you're not in a place where you have things like walk stations or sit stand desks or a large facility to walk around. That is where some of the problems I think would have come in for me had I tried to do this challenge in a normal day-to-day environment. So I do recognize that. And when recommending trying to do something like 10K steps for a client or other people who might be coming to me for advice, I would recognize that that is not an easy feat when you work in an office environment and you are at a desk job all day, every day, or hell, even streamers. Your job is to be entertaining on the internet in front of people playing video games. While yes, there are health and fitness streamers, you can't just take a break for 10 to 15 minutes and leave your BRB screen up. So I do recognize and have thought of other ways for streamers to get in that extra movement that maybe isn't steps while they are streaming or while they're gaming. If you're not a streamer, just a regular gamer who spends a lot of time at a couch or at a desk gaming. And that is a whole different topic. But I do recognize that I was able to complete this challenge purely because I was working from home. It would have been an even bigger mental feat had I not been working from home. All in all, the 10K challenge was a good challenge. Is it feasible for everyone? I don't really know. I think that is highly dependent on your job. If you were able to get up and move about the cabin, for lack of a better way of putting it, during the day and you're not glued to your phone to answering calls and things like that, or glued to your desk, not your phone. But if you're not glued to your desk answering calls or needing to be specifically in one location the entire run of your job, it can be pretty easy to get that 10K steps moving around your facility, moving around your workplace to go to further bathrooms, parking at the back of the parking lot at work, things like that to help add in those extra steps, and then using mindful time when you're at home to go and make sure you're getting steps in. So while, yes, I would recommend 10K steps to just about everyone to help create more movement throughout your day outside of your structured exercise, especially if you are someone who spends a lot of time at a desk during the day and then someone who spends a lot of time at a computer at home, like my gamers out there, I can't say it is entirely feasible for everyone because I do recognize that a lot of people have jobs that they can't get up and move around and have that freedom like I could and like others can during the day while they're trying to hit 10K steps. Is it helpful in weight loss? Obviously. I knew that going in. That wasn't really a question, but still, a lot of people do question why 10K? And as someone who maybe got half of that, I did notice a difference in my overall expenditure for the day, as I should have. So 10K may not be a magic number. There's obviously research that comes with how that number came to be. It's not a perfect number, but it definitely is around where you would want to be in the day if you want to see that extra movement actually benefit you. Did I feel better? Absolutely. And I think most people would who sit at a desk all day. We all tend to have really poor posture at our desks. I am guilty of it. Almost everyone I know is guilty of it. Unless you are a posture-minded person, you probably will sit like this at your desk or gaming on your couch and not be in good positions, which will ultimately degrade and wear and tear on your joints. So getting up and moving and just making all of that movement instead of just continuously sitting will absolutely help you feel better. Is it the perfect solution? Are you going to get to cancel all of your appointments? Are you going to have to, or are you going to get to skip your stretching and feel good things that you do currently to make yourself feel better? Probably not. But if you have to take an ibuprofen at the end of every night, it might help so that you don't have to take that all the time. That is generally the conclusion with the 10K steps. It is a lot harder mentally than it is physically if you don't already get that movement in throughout your day. You have to think about it similar to having a plan for your workout and your nutrition. You have to think about it to track it, engage it throughout the day. And one of the ways that I believe is the best way to start doing things like this is gamifying your workouts. I work with gamers, so obviously I'm looking for new ways all the time to get them into fitness and off of the games, or combining fitness and the games. And there are a lot of apps out there nowadays that will help you and motivate you to get that extra movement in while also treating it like a game. One of which that I can think of off the top of my head, I'm sure almost no one plays this anymore, but it's what's at the top of my head, is Pokemon Go. There are other apps out there. I think there's one from what I've seen of like a little Tamagotchi that you can add to wearables that you have to take care of via your movement and your activity. Usually it's step counts with most of these apps. There are step bets that there's an app that like you can bet other people for your activity. So those types of things are the way for those of us that are at a desk all day and don't get that movement, can motivate ourselves to get up and move. If you're at a big corporate facility, check with your ergonomics people or your HR or your benefits people to see if you have facilities available to you. I know at my work, I have walk stations available to me all around where we work. And I utilize them daily when I'm there. Every time I'm there, I go grab the walk station for a half hour to an hour just to get those extra steps in. And if you have those available to you, definitely I recommend using them to help get that extra movement in and to help alleviate some of the pain on your joints and, well, just to be overall healthier. So all in all, the 10K step challenge is absolutely a positive challenge to start to take on. Whether it's 30 days or you just make it a permanent part of your routine, if you have low step counts right now and you've seen a plateau maybe in your weight loss, start elevating that movement a little bit and you should see some extra results. That being said, I think that is it for me on this video. The next episode, I believe, will be my 30 days of intermittent fasting. That trend has taken a hold on people and it won't let go. I will give you my thoughts as a personal trainer and nutrition coach on the standard 16-8 intermittent fasting next week. So, as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check out the Engineering Chaos podcast, also listed on this channel. Bye, guys.